Hello everyone. Today we're going to start with gold. Since it's Monday and it's a new week, we're going to start from the weekly time frame. We're not going to do a lot of pairs, but the major ones, the ones that might have interesting things coming up in the next few weeks. So on gold, last week was a very good candle. It dropped as expected, completed the clean traffic. This clean traffic, it completed. If we were looking at order blocks, this would be considered as our last order block, so we could see price reverse from here before it can continue down to possibly this area. So I won't be advising any big bullish trades until price reaches this area. I think this is the right spot for price to reverse, because this is where the initial uptrend started. As you can see, price was falling and then price made a low, rejected, came back up, and then we came back to make a new low right here. So this is the initial order block that we want to see price reverse from if price is going to continue going higher. So that is one thing that we have to note. The second thing we have to note is price didn't exactly create a new high. As you can see, it came back up, it retested this high, and price dropped. So if price didn't exactly create a new high, then possibly price could still be falling. As you can see, fell, right, and then went up. Could see price fall again. So if we could see price fall again, what would be our target? I would suggest this area. This is the next area price would have to reach if it's going to reverse again, give us that bullish move before it continues going down. That's if it's going down. So I'm suggesting this area because price already came up to this area and it rejected from there. So this is already it has already came into play. Price has already reacted to this. So this does not concern us as much. This, yes, when price reaches this area, yes, it will concern us. But if price does break this area, then this is the next area that we'll be looking at price to reach. Before we can say it's reaching this area, it will have to deal with this area first. So that's where I'm thinking price would reach if it's going to continue with the bearish trend, if it's in a bearish trend. So we are going to highlight our last week's low, right? And then I'm not going to highlight the high because the highlight is the high is far up here. And what are the chances that price will come all the way to retest? We're not sure, but we will put the high because if you can look at our last week's candle, right, the candle does not have any wicks, meaning anything can happen. So we could see a whipsaw happening here. We could see this candle coming all the way up before it even goes anywhere, without even going any lower. So this candle suggests that anything can happen because it does not have any wicks. If a candle does not have any wicks, it means that price does not have any area to range around. So it can literally go anywhere. It can go up, it can go down. So we've highlighted our high and our low. Let's go on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, we can look the area we were at. It was a very nice support. Price is rejected. But if we look at last week's Friday candle, right, this candle is telling us that price hit this area, right, tried rejecting, but price still came back to close at this low. So if price did try rejecting this area, then there's a possibility that we might get a consolidation around this area before price breaks down, right? So this is one thing that we might get, or we might get price consolidating a little bit, give us a fake out to reach this area, and then push all the way up to retest this area before it pushes down. So now that means if you are looking to trade around this area, right, you are looking to say, okay, if price breaks this area, you're only looking to take your profits around this area, then you wait. You do not do anything around this area, because high chances price could just leave a wick here and go up to retest before it pushes down. Yes, we do know that chances are there that price could just push down and continue going down also. So if you have your take profits here, if you take some of your take profits here, that's good, and then you put your stop losses on break even so that you are careful in case if anything happens. So that's the first thing that we have to take note of on the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, we're going to put another support, right? And then we're going to say our last support to look out for. Yeah, let's put a text there. Let's say daily order block, because it is an order block. Because if we do look at our weekly time frame, that is the area that we said we should look out for. So it's our order block. So I'm going to say our daily order block. So in the daily time frame, we don't really have to put much here. Maybe we can adjust this resistance to around this area. I wouldn't put any other lines here because this was clean traffic, so there isn't much that we can say on the daily time frame. We would have to look on the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, what is an area that we can say price could reach before it goes down? I would say this area right here, because if price reaches this area and it breaks, high chances it will reach this area, and then we would even have high chances that price is going to continue going higher. So we would need to see this is our first resistance, price has to break. This is our second resistance, price has to break. Remember, price needs to break 2 resistances before the trend can reverse. So if price needs to break 2 resistances for us to say, okay, the trend has changed, then this would be the last area that we are looking at for price to reach before we can say, okay, now we need price to push lower. So we could get something similar to this, and then price reaches here. If it gives us a week out and then price comes back to close below here, then that's even more confirmations that price is going to drop. All we need is a fake out around this area. That fake out is the confirmation, because it would have taken all the stop losses of people who are buying and of people who are selling around here. Now, since we know that price is high chances of giving us a weak out, it would even be more proper if we were to say price could actually come all the way to this area for the retest before price pushes lower, because if there's one thing that we know, price always retests on gold. 90% of the time it retests. And looking at this area, price dropped, gave us a small bullish movement and dropped again, but there was no retest. So for price to actually reach this area for the retest, right, that's where I'm saying we would maybe want something like this around this area, a range, then a fake out out of our support, price comes back to close back in, then we can say, okay, price now has higher chances of reaching this area for the retest. So if you are a person who's hungry for a trade, right, if you're going to sell when price breaks around this area, you are only selling to the level that we have mentioned, and you have buy limits around that area to push price back up. Because remember, a couple of, well, can even say a month or 2 ago, we talked about how price had to come back to retest this area, because price created we had a reversal setup right here. We can say with our W formation, right, with our small range here, then with our big range, telling us that our breakout was stable, right? And then we had the bullish move, but we never really had a bullish move and a retest before price could go up. So what if this was the bullish move, right? The impulse, this is the correction. So where can you expect price to leave a week? This is the area that we can expect price to leave a week before it reverses to go higher. So we are expecting price to reverse from here up to here. We will only know that it's going to go higher when price gets around here. Then we can say, okay, yeah, price is gonna go higher. But if it doesn't, then we can expect our sell setups to say, okay, now price can go lower. If that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, please feel free to contact us so that we can help you out. So we're going to say watch price here. Price, let's say carefully or closely, either way. But those are our magic spots. So this is the first one, this is the first magic spot, but this is the initial one that we need to know that price, is it going to continue going higher or is it going to push lower to complete the sort of kind of bearish setup that price is printing? Because we can see where the drop, up move, drop, up move, drop, could have been up move for another drop. Price could be doing that, because what worries me is price did not create a new high around this area. If price had came all the way up here, right, and made a high around this area, then price dropped, we could simply say this is a retest for price to continue going higher. But the fact that price did not create a new high right here, don't get caught up in the buy setups. We will only have buy setup if price actually breaks out of this high, completes this weak fill, and creates a new high above this resistance. Then we can say price is now bullish. But with no closing above this area, we can expect price to continue falling. So you have to be careful around this area. If price does reach this area, if it doesn't, you need price to close below here, complete the weak fill, then you can expect price to fall more. If it makes a stable closing up below this area, we need a range that can push price lower. So for shorter trades or for intraday trades, right, today we had price create a low right here, right? You had a low right here. Price gave you a big bearish candle. You have to notice this. It gave you a big bearish candle, right? And did not create another bearish candle going lower. So this was a stop hand. This was definitely a stop hand, because if price rejected around this area, right, people were expecting price to come back down again here, reject this area, but price didn't. But it gave us a big bearish candle, right, with no other bearish candle going lower. That means this was a stop hand. And then as price reversed and closed above, that was the confirmation that this was a stop hand and price is most likely to push higher. So if that was a stop hand, where could be your entry? This candle could have been your entry, because this was the retest of the stop hand of the low. This was our weekly low. This was actually our weekly low. And then today we had the breakout, the stop hand, because to take out stop losses and to make other people sell actually, right? So the more sellers they have, the more stop losses they hit. That's why we have price reversing. So when price closed above our big bearish candle, you could have set a buy limit, or you could have bought above there, and then now we have price pushing higher. So we can expect price to complete this clean traffic, because that's what price has been doing. It's not going down, it's not creating any bearish candles. That's a bullish candle, that's a bullish candle. So we could simply get the same candle like this ones around here, and then the next candle could be a big bullish candle completing the wick fill. Now, if price completes this, not even a wick fill, but the clean traffic, if price completes this clean traffic, this is not that much of a big range that can stop price from reaching this area. Price could actually reach this area, consolidates a little bit, and we could see price continue going back to this area. Don't let that fool you and cause you to jump into the markets with a lot of trades thinking that, okay, now price is going to reach here, right? It might reach there, but you also have to be careful that this could be the area that price will reject from. That's one scenario. If price doesn't reject from here, we could see it come back all the way up, give us that stop hand, and then drop. But for today, we could expect price to reach this area, and then we can wait around this area to see what happens next. But price also has a chance of continue going up because this is not much of a big deal. This is not much of a big deal, but we should see what price does when it reaches the area. If it's going to reach the area, remember that. So also take note that even if it reaches this area, right, we could see it reach this area, drop, because now this is a range. If price comes all the way up here, rejects this area, then this becomes a range. And remember, if we do have a range right here, then we could say, okay, price could now give us a bigger stop hand to the area that we wanted to reach before it can come back up to push all the way to where we wanted to go before it goes all the way down, if that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense to me. So if it doesn't make sense to you, you should ask me and then I'll help you out. But yes, because now price, remember, gold likes to range. This is why we say gold likes to range. It ranges before it makes its big move. It ranges before it makes its big move. So this could simply be a range for price to go to push higher. So you need to watch out. So you need to watch out what price does when it reaches here. Is it creating a range or is it pushing higher? So if it's gonna create a range, or if it's gonna trick us first before it shows us that it's creating a range, just watch out for this area. This could be the area that it leaves a long wick before it completes the range. So this is the area that we have to look out for before price starts creating the range again. So we could see price wick out to this area, give us a stop, and because people will explode, definitely people have their sell limits around this area. So price could give us a stop hand to this area before price can push lower to give us that range. So those are the things that you need to watch out on gold for this week, for today, for tomorrow, for the coming days. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me so that I can help you out. But yes, a trade is there. Just don't get caught up in the bullish move. Anything can happen. I'm not saying that price is not bullish. I'm just saying you should be careful. That's all.